Good evening and welcome to the Select Board meeting. Today is April 14th. All right, we do have a quorum. Sam and Joe. Rolf can't make it and Lonnie can't make it. So I need a motion to approve the minutes of April 4th, please.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions? All in favor? Okay, a motion for the April 6th minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? All right, consideration of annual town meeting warrant or ordinance article recommendations. We're gonna wait a few more minutes for Alex. Let's go to B, consideration of final approval of annual town meeting warrants.
Madam Chair, until you make your recommendations, you can't really do the final. Alex is joining us now. The one you could skip to if you wanted to was the last ordinance, which is business ordinance, and that one's mine. So I can discuss it with you if you like.
Sue,
Really, she's
Yes.
really just making this.
Alex
difficult.
says he's been trying to get in. It says waiting for host to let you in.
He just now came up on my screen. I'm letting him in now.
Okay, thanks.
So I don't know why he wasn't there before, but he just popped in.
Yeah, he said he's been there, I guess. And it's just
Oh, that's-
spinning.
That's odd because
Waiting.
it hasn't been here. Though Wayne
Okay.
had seemed to have a hard time getting in too. He came up several times and I admitted him.
Waiting in the space room.
So Alex is almost here.
He's almost here. He's still in the space zone.
Almost here. Yeah. That's how I feel. Almost here sometimes.
All right, we're gonna hang on a second then.
Not here is how I feel.
We're gonna try and get you on and off here. Sam, thank you seriously for showing up.
Thank you for remembering my name there.
And Lonnie calls you an old man. I mean, can you believe it? You have a great memory, big time. And you pick up on things.
Oh, jeez.
All right, let's get to the ordinances. On page 30 of our packets. All right, Alex, you're gonna give us condensed versions of these, correct?
Yes. Do you want me to just kind of give a summary for each one?
How do you guys want to vote on these? You want to vote per one? Do we have to, Joe?
Yes, you have to vote on each one.
Okay,
So I
Go
think
ahead.
you go one at a time, give us a quick recap, and then let's vote.
okay.
Okay. So I would be starting at addendum 2 then, correct?
No, addendum 1 for the TIF, I think.
Okay, I have no clue about that. So,
Okay. No, the
The
TIF, I
TIF is
gave you
already
the,
done.
I gave you the full addendum and rather than break it up to try and get it to you as quickly as I could. And that's why you got extra stuff.
Okay, all right. Sorry, Alex, go ahead.
okay. So addendum number 2 is setback variance hardship criteria. So in a nutshell, essentially what's going on here, this is a request that came from the Zoning Board of Appeals. The current shoreline zoning ordinance allows for a setback reduction, which is different than a variance. With an appeal, you have an administrative appeal or a variance appeal. Our shoreline zoning ordinance allows for a setback reduction. It's essentially a variance with restrictions that doesn't require a hardship to be granted. So there's some question as to whether it's legal or not, and it doesn't necessarily line up with the state statute. So what the ZBA is requesting, they kind of worked with the town's attorney, Phil Saucier, on this. They are requesting to strike out the setback reduction portion from our ordinance and replace it with a setback variance that is in the statute that's actually just for single family dwellings. So it would be a little bit easier for people to get a setback reduction to build a house, but not as easy to get as the current setback reduction option that's available. So long story short, if this were to be approved, it would be more difficult for some people to get a variance to build stuff closer to lot lines than the ordinance allows in the shoreline zone. But the goal of the Zoning Board of Appeals was to put the town's ordinance more in line with state law.
Okay,
Okay. So the next one is,
Wait a minute. Do you guys want to vote on that one?
I just need to understand it a little bit better. So
Sure.
we're not doing away with the 250-foot setback from the water, right? We're just looking at boundaries.
well, really all this is has nothing to do with the allowed setbacks. Right now, someone can come in if they can't meet the setbacks, and they can apply for a variance to build closer to a lot line than the
Yeah.
ordinance allows.
Yeah.
We have two different options for that, and one of them requires an individual to meet some type of hardship. And to prove that you're in a hardship unless the variance is granted is often a very difficult thing to do. Setback reduction doesn't require you to have a hardship. You can just ask for it. You can just say, I want to build a garage closer to the lot line. So that would be going away. So now people would have to have a significant hardship in order to get a variance to do something. So it's going to make things easier. I can tell you some of the backstory and the history on why we have this in the ordinance. It was created to solve issues with structures that were built too close to the lot lines illegally. Someone got a building permit and they said, we're going to be 20 feet from the sideline. And they got a permit, great. And they ended up building it 10 feet from the sideline. And then there was a mortgage loan inspection done when they sold the house. And it was found, oh, you're only 10 feet, not 20 feet. What are we going to do? You can't get a variance for that after the fact because you don't meet the criteria. So a setback reduction was created to allow the ZBA to grant these variances after the fact and not have to follow hardship. But there's some question as to whether or not it's legal or not. So the ZBA doesn't want to have to deal with, is this legal or is it not? They just want to have it cleaned up so that it matches what this current state statute allows for zoning board of appeals.
I'll make a motion to accept.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? All right.
Okay, addendum 3, this one's a little bit easier. This is a new section that we are creating in the ordinance. This is for commercial solar energy systems. So it's our attempt to regulate large commercial solar fields. This does not regulate a solar system for someone's home, essentially for a residential system. This is for a large system that would tie into the grid and is a large commercial utility. So that's what this entire section is all for that.
Motion to accept.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
All right. So addendum number 4 is the creation of a definition for outdoor sales and service. We currently allow for outdoor sales and service in the ordinance. However, it's not defined anywhere. This came up in the last year where a marina in town was storing some boats outside of their property on a different lot, and this issue was discovered. Essentially what this amendment is going to do is it's going to define outdoor sales and service, and it's actually going to update the conditional use section of our ordinance to allow for outdoor sales and service to take place outside of a structure. The issue we ran into this year is outdoor sales and service is allowed as a conditional use in our ordinance. However, conditional uses are not allowed to take place outside of a structure. So technically it wasn't even really allowed unless it was inside. So this amendment basically fixes that, updates the definition, creates a definition, and updates the conditional use section.
Motion to accept.
Sam?
We need a second. Unmute
I-
yourself, please.
I saw his mouth move.
Yeah.
Oh, second.
All in favor?
Excellent. So addendum number 5 is probably the largest of all of them. It's essentially, we did this last year with streets and roads. We went through all the ordinances and corrected all the definitions to make sure they matched. One of the problems that we're trying to fix each year is a bunch of definitions across each ordinance to make sure they all match. They're all the same. So this one, we've gone through and we're updating the definition for structures, lot frontage, really a number of things to make sure that they line up across all of the ordinances.
So it's just the corrections, definitions.
Yes.
Yep, essentially.
Okay. Move to accept.
Second.
All in favor? Okay,
Addendum number 6 basically came about because of the large condo subdivision that was actually approved last night by the planning board off of 85. What they found was a mistake in the ordinance, the subdivision regulations. There is basically a limit to what you can do on a road, and the ordinance is for 25 and under or 25 and above, and they wanted to do 25. So it was, which one do they fall under? So we've just corrected that. This is an easy one.
Where is this going on 85?
this is gonna ask you.
So if you take a right onto 85 at Good Life and you go about half a mile, it's on the right.
Yeah.
You'll see there's some flags out. I think it's after 25, I believe is the address. It's on the
Yeah.
right-hand side.
Is that the one they were trying to come in Claire Lane on?
Yeah, originally it came off the other side off of Patricia. Yep.
So how many you're going in?
20, I think it's 25.
This is the one by the power lines? When they
Yep.
were clearing all that stuff by the power lines?
I think this is the former Buskey property, is that right?
There's a fire
It-
hydrant, I think, in there, right?
It is not the, he actually purchased that lot as well, Don, but the development itself is on the lot next to that one.
So in the same general vicinity, though?
That's a name I haven't heard in a while, Don.
Yeah, yeah, but
Yeah,
you may remember where that lot is.
Yeah,
So that's what.
Motion to approve.
Yeah.
Motion to approve.
second.
All in favor?
Okay, addendum number 7 is, all this is we have to then allow solar energy systems and outdoor storage in certain districts. So this is just the section Article 4 that we've added solar energy systems into certain districts and outdoor storage in, I believe, commercial, if I remember correctly, as a conditional use. So that's all this is, just adding those, allowing those uses in certain zones.
Motion to
So
accept.
outdoor storage, so solar panels are considered outdoor storage?
Nope, solar energy systems we've created as a defined use. That's for commercial solar energy systems. Outdoor sales or outdoor storage is a use, and then outdoor sales and service is a use. So we are, outdoor sales and service is already allowed as a conditional use in the commercial district. We've created a definition for outdoor storage, which would be different than sales and service. And that's being allowed in the commercial district as a conditional use.
Okay,
So outdoor sales and service is already allowed, but we've created one for outdoor storage, which would now be allowed.
all right.
And I can
Motion.
give you the thinking behind that, Joe, was the boat storage that takes place in the commercial district that's
Yeah.
already being done isn't really legal. You can't actually do that now, starting from scratch. So now it will be allowed. So those will be conforming uses.
Okay,
Motion to accept.
second.
All in favor? Okay,
All right. Just scrolling through here. So the next one is, come on, it's a big section, 8.
Yeah.
Addendum 8 is that outdoor storage I was talking about. It's creating a definition for that.
Motion to accept?
second,
All in favor?
Addendum number 9, minimum lot size. This is a very small change in the space standards. Basically, we have it listed as half acre in spots and 20,000 square feet in spots. So we just had to correct one that was listed as 1/2 acre, which they're not quite the same.
motion to accept,
Second?
All in favor?
I think that's it for mine.
All right, thanks, Alex.
Yeah, you're welcome.
good job.
Thank
Sue,
you.
You're up.
And next is business ordinances. A couple of years ago, we made it, or Scott, our then, I'm sorry, I'm getting a little punchy. Our then CEO, Scott Dvorak, suggested a bunch of changes to the business license ordinance. In working through those, we found that some of them needed to be tweaked a bit because they weren't practicable. And in particular, all of the licenses were going to expire on March 1st. That would mean that, and they would do that annually. That would mean that every single year, Wayne would have to go out and inspect all the businesses prior to March 1st, and that's just not something we can do. So we're splitting it up so that their business license will expire every 2 years unless they have a annual state inspection for like a daycare or a liquor license or something of that nature. And in that case, they'll expire every year at this with the same expiration date as their state license. The others that will go for 2 years will be expiring every year or every 2 years from the time they apply. So that should spread them out through the year. And to begin with, we'll have to go through and kind of, I'll assign them a month probably to get this ball rolling so that Wayne should have just a few each month to deal with.
Okay. This is my gripe. All right. So as far as daycares go, and I am partial to this one, of course, we have an inspection every 2 years now. The state does. The state comes in and they do an extensive one. And then we also have the state fire marshal that comes in and does a big thing. So in 26 years, besides doing my initial inspection, I've never had to do an inspection, I mean a license for the town, because we did the initial one and that's it. So I honestly, unless you are moving the building, making big modifications to the building, like expanding or whatever, I know there's one coming up on our next thing, a new person's taking over, so it starts it all over. I don't think daycare should be on that one.
So you don't think daycare should get a town business license? Or they should have a permanent one?
I think I already have a permanent one.
Well, and
when I
that's what
first got it.
that's what we did used to issue were permanent licenses. They came in, registered with the town for $10, and we never
Right.
saw them again. Whether they were
Exactly.
still here or not, we got no updates. And part of the reason for this was to give the select board a way to, and the town a way to collect personal property tax. So I'm not sure if we can take one business out of it and sell the rest of the businesses you have to adhere. And that's not a judgment. It's just, I'm not sure if we can do that. We'd have to run that sort of thing by our lawyers.
I guess then in this case, I don't think that since we only have 3 here voting, because it affects me personally and financially and everything else,
Mhm.
I won't be voting on this one.
I didn't think about that. Yeah.
I didn't think about it honestly until I read these right beforehand too, because again, I think in the case if the daycare is not is in violation with the state,
Mhm.
then the town should know about it. You know what I mean? So where there's a license or whether state, right? So say it was a violation as far as oh God, anything fire or whatever the reason is that we're not in good standing, then maybe then they lose that license that's they were originally given. But again, like I said, 26 years ago when I started this thing, I don't know. This one has, I think, conflict of interest written all over me on this one. Do you know what I mean? To say no and being the board chair too. So a little,
But here's the thing with conflict of interest. It has to affect you alone. This doesn't affect you
That's true.
alone because there's other daycares in the town.
Yeah,
well, I know that, but it also puts me in, I know what they have to go through. I know what they have to do in order to be a daycare. Do you know what I
know.
mean?
For
So-
me personally, I just think we make it as easy as possible for any business to stay in town. You know, I hate local ordinances because you go from town to town. I mean, I'm in 9 different towns and I have to deal with 9 different ordinances and it's a pain in my butt, to be honest with you.
Mhm.
And it's all about personal property tax, all $20 I pay for my computer systems. I mean, give me a break. You know, if I'm licensed by the state has a whole lot more control over me than any local town should. So,
and I don't have any problems paying any kind of local taxes at all. That's not it. That's not it at all.
oh, I know. It's just the kind of, if you want to attract business to town, you make it as easy as possible for any business to come in here.
that's right.
Well,
So,
and I get that. I get keeping track of people and stuff like that. But so in other words, each year the daycare will have to file a new license and get it approved by the select board. Am I,
no, if you read that, I took out the select board piece of that. They would just simply have to file a new license
so how,
with the
so
town,
doing that
with
new
me.
license? All
But
right.
why can't they come in, even if you charge them $100 and say, that's a one-time fee we collect is $100.
Mhm.
We expect you to file your personal property taxes every year.
Mhm.
You know, and if they don't, you go after them. But
Well, see-
why make them file stupid paperwork every year?
Yeah,
And
this
isn't
came
against you,
about.
Sue. Yeah.
Yeah, this came about because we had a few personal properties that were much in arrears.
Right.
And we have no teeth. The law has absolutely no teeth with personal property. We can't come in and take your cash registers. We
Right.
can't, we can't do anything if people choose not to pay their personal property. So unless we have something like this, so this was the solution that we came up with, and the select board put it on the warrant, and it was enacted by the town. This is the selectmen's warrant. We could change the warrant article potentially to get rid of the business license completely. There's all kinds of things we could do. We could take this warrant article off and ignore the ordinance that's there because it's not anything we actually can do anything with right now. So
Well,
it's at your pleasure.
What I would recommend is that this come to another meeting in a select board and have a real discussion about what we do as a town to attract business and what licensing we require.
I would
Well-
vote to table it, yes.
Can we still talk about it if you vote to table it?
No,
That's what I thought. I always want to talk about it more.
There
Yeah.
hasn't been a motion yet.
All right,
Yes,
so did you vote? Did you vote?
I
To,
vote to table it, yes. Make a motion to table it.
but you don't have a second.
yeah, you're not allowed to
so
talk about it.
Now
We
you can
didn't have
talk
a
about
second,
it if
so
there's
you
no
can-
second.
You can
Oh, there's no-
continue talking.
Yes.
All right.
So-
So wait a minute.
I would need a little bit of guidance because I've literally been ignoring the other ordinance, the existing ordinance, because it's not something we can actually do anything with. It's not realistic.
I know for a fact because I check in with Sue and Sue Carr a lot on, the personal and what to do as far as personal properties and stuff like that. And I'm not trying to make it so it is hard, but I think also I'm in a very awkward position because of me saying with the daycare. So I think it's really, I don't know. I don't know how much I can put in there as a selectman.
Well, you can still have part of the discussion You
Right.
could still be a
Yeah.
part of, that's why I say we bring it to a different select board meeting and have a discussion, and if we have to wait a year to put it back on a warrant, that's what you do. How
then
much do
that
we
way-
collect every year in personal property taxes from business?
No idea. Sue Carr would
Sharice,
know that figure,
any
but
idea?
I really don't know. Sharice may know. Do you have that anywhere in the budget figures, Sharice? How much was collected with for personal property tax?
My guess, it's a pretty small amount.
Right, but that doesn't mean there's a small amount of personal property tax that might be owed out there. So I'm in agreement with this direction. Maybe we should look at what other towns do, how they handle it. Maybe this isn't the way, but it is a serious problem.
Yeah,
Well,
that's
and-
why I
and it-
say you bring it back to the select board and allow us to determine how should a business operate in the town of Raymond?
And again, it's not to pay taxes. I was reading this, that every year I needed to come in and file a license again with all the other paperwork that we have to do with daycares. It's crazy, but I'm sure other businesses are too. And again, in 26 years, not having to, and then all of a sudden switching that. So it's not to make your job difficult. So again,
Oh,
And I-
no. If we didn't do business licenses and we take something off my plate like that, it isn't adding to my,
and I don't want people thinking too, I'm using my position to exclude me with the daycare also. I don't want that either.
I don't have a
So-
store in town anymore and I still don't like it. So how's that?
There you go. There you go. So, all right.
if I could make a suggestion though, if you're going to table this, can you also include in the warrant, in the motion to remove it from the draft warrant? So that it won't even be on the town warrant. Or I'm not sure if you need to, because you haven't really
We haven't
approved it.
voted to put
I-
it in.
Yeah, that's true. This is the first time, I was thinking you'd seen the whole warrant before, but you really haven't. So that's true.
So Wayne's picture popped up. So to me, that kind of tells me you may want to put some input in here.
Sure. One of the other facets of the business license, as you're well aware, is we do our fire safety inspections and make sure that businesses are compliant with the fire safety
Mhm.
requirements. And so this is a mechanism to do that and make sure that the conditions in the businesses are compliant. This was another way to do that.
And I get that, and I agree with that. But let me ask, can I ask you this? Because I don't know the answer to this. Because you see all kinds of businesses, Wayne. Do they also get the state of Maine fire marshal coming in, doing their inspections, any of the businesses in town?
On the liquor license, only when, like we dealt with last year on the business that wanted to expand their outside use and
Yep.
actually start doing entertainment, then yes, the state fire marshal has to come in at that point. Other than that, for example, the annual liquor licenses, as far as I know, the state's not involved at all. It's just us at the local level.
Okay, because I know, again, like the daycares, and I understand, I agree with you on the fire inspections. And we have the fire marshal come in now it's every 2 years.
2 years.
So they come in and they do their inspections, and they're pretty thorough.
And I should be more up to speed, like on your daycare. Is yours an actual? It's not a family daycare; it's an actual daycare, kind of like the one that we have coming up on the agenda. Is that correct?
That is a licensed daycare facility, and mine's a licensed home facility. It's home daycare is what it is. So I can only have up to 12 at one
Right.
time. They can have more than 12. And
so
it's based on their thing, right?
how I'm reading this business license ordinance is you're excluded because that's a home occupation.
Where did you see that?
It's a little later on. Home occupations aren't part of this ordinance,
Yeah, home occupations won't get a business license.
right?
Even, but Okay, I didn't read that far. I just read before, but even though it's a business still though, so there should be at least a business license of some sort
Well,
filed when they
home
open up.
occupations don't have personal property, do they?
And home occupations are required to get a permit from the code officer.
Even for great big playhouses. Look at Alex. I'm gonna bug him about that one. All right. So again, I mean, again, I don't want to use my position on the select board to. So maybe going through and really reading this and understanding it for the home and for the outside the home and what a center is compared to the home daycare and what other businesses do, because there's so many moving parts with this.
So would you want this put forward to the May meeting or farther on than that?
I would say May, but
Okay.
you know, I want to know what other towns do. There are some towns that are really good at inviting businesses in and don't harass you for everything. And then there are other towns that make you fill out tons of paperwork every year. So I'm interested in what the good towns do.
I'm not sure May is the best meeting, so we're gonna have I think a pretty full agenda.
We get
And I-
There is going to be a public hearing for the town meeting warrant.
So I'm thinking
So-
maybe, you're gonna have a lot of time now. You're not racing to get to a town meeting, so.
Yeah.
So how about September?
Okay, yeah, that would be
You
better
got-
because June, July, and August really
Gives you
wouldn't
lots
be.
of time to research other towns.
Mhm.
Exactly.
Yes. Okay, I'll move that
Oh.
to September.
I'll make a motion to remove addendum 10 from the warrant and table until September.
Second,
Okay, Wayne, thank you for bringing that to my attention, by the way.
No problem.
All right, any more discussion? All in favor? Okay. So yeah, I didn't mean to be difficult on that one. All right.
That's your
any-
nature.
yeah. Try harder next time, will you?
You guys, seriously, you're calling me a pain in the butt publicly. That's terrible. All right, any public comment? Nope. There was somebody else on here, but selectman comment? Nope. All right, motion to adjourn.
So
So
move.
moved.
Second.
On favor?
Bye, everyone.
All right,
Thank
thanks,
you.
Good
guys.
night.